animal communicators, and welcome to this week's live, completely free power training created just for you. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Sarah Jane LeBlanc, and it is always my pleasure and also my privilege to rock up here and share more than 20 years experience as an animal communicator, also as a trainer, a mentor and a coach, where I often bring real live struggles and challenges that students are facing into these trainings, and that's exactly what I am doing here today. So I am actually drawing from an issue that came up for not one but for two students in the same week last week, and I wanted to bring it here for you. So it's all about when you're banging your head against a brick wall, like you just can't get to where you want to get to, where you need to get to, and more importantly, where your client is expecting you to get to. Now, there are a whole range of abilities in my Facebook group and on my YouTube following. Some of you are brand new to this work. Some of you have been doing it a little while. Some of you show up every week religiously and you practice with a weekly animal teacher. Some of you are already practicing as a professional practitioner. But here's the thing. We do this work because we want to make a difference. So regardless of whether you are being, excuse me, regardless of whether you are being paid to do the consultation, or whether you're doing it for practice, or whether you're doing it out of the goodness of your great big loving heart, I know that you want to do the best that you absolutely can. And this is why when you're banging your head off a brick wall, having a strategy to move beyond that is absolutely essential to your work. You want to be able to move out of that banging your head off a brick wall place so that you can be more effective, so you can create change, so you can create understanding, and so that you will have not only a happy client, but a happy animal as well. So all of these different factors make it really important for you to be able to stop yourself and course correct. This is an expression I use a lot with students on my professional practitioner program. It's knowing how to course correct, and that's what we'll be looking at here. So let's dive in. So the case studies that I was reviewing and assessing last week, where both students were feeling like they were, one of them kept saying, I'm hitting my head over a brick wall, the other one said, I keep going round and round in circles. But it was actually the same thing. And interestingly, this usually happens when working with behavioural cases and you're really trying to get to the bottom of the behavioural case, the behavioural issue and what drives it. But actually this was around health. Both of these cases were around health, and I thought that was quite interesting in its own way. So let's look at the context for both of these students. One of them was around not being able to get any depth in the consultation, and she actually said to me, she's actually a private mentorship client that I work with. So she's already an animal communicator. She's already doing this work, has been doing it for a long time, and she's really good at asking good quality questions. I saw that in her work from the very first day. But here she was sitting in our call and she's saying to me, it just felt really thin. There wasn't the depth that I would normally have when doing consultations. And she was absolutely right. And I say that with no judgment whatsoever. The reason she was doing mentorship with me was so that she could learn and she could grow. If she knew it all, she wouldn't need that. If you knew it all, you wouldn't need to be here listening to these free trainings. So know that it's okay to not always do it perfectly. Know that it's okay to not know what you need to know to move forward. And this is exactly where the lovely Stephanie was. So she said to me, it's a bit thin. And she's absolutely right. It was thin. She had great accuracy, high levels of accuracy. She was asking good questions, but she got to that place where she was kind of butting her head off the wall a little bit, because she was starting to go round in circles. And what was really easy for me to see when I looked at the conversation that she had with the animal, it was quite easy for me to see where she had lost the animal. And when I pointed that out to her, and I said, do you see here when the animal said this? And she's like, oh my God, I didn't need to beat her with a shitty stick. She was already doing that. She's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I missed that and I just left it hanging. So my first teaching point in this piece around banging your head off a brick wall, pay real close attention to what information you are getting, because the answer is in there. The course directing is in there. So that's your first piece of teaching here. Pay close attention to the answers that you're getting. And if you're stuck, look back your notes. Was there something in any of those responses from the animal that you could go back to and pick up and then redirect the consultation? So that's the first piece. The other thing that I could see was where the animal was kind of shutting off. It was a cat she was working with, and I could see where the cat was kind of closing down and putting up the barrier. Now, I knew straight away that that was because of the missed piece earlier, and Stephanie could see that as well. No wonder the cat wasn't ready to open up, because the cat had already opened up, and that had got missed in the flow of conversation. So I talk a lot in these teachings about treating it like a conversation with a friend. So that's what you want to do here. Just relax. It's like, remember you said a few minutes ago, do you mind if you go back there? That's how you course correct. Super, super easy. Very, very natural. So look back your notes. That's the next piece to do. Look back your notes. Is there something that the animal has said that you could go back to and reopen the conversation from a slightly different angle? The other thing that was quite important and essential to this case, and likewise with the other student as well, very similar issues, which I thought was quite funny, both health cases, both cats. But the other piece that was quite evident for me to see was the amount of different ways that she could have addressed the issue. So this is your next teaching point. Third teaching point. When you know what the client is asking of you, that's your sat-nav. That's your internal sat-nav for your consultation. That's where you are working towards. So every route you take, every road that you take, and here's the big piece, so write this down. Every question you ask, write that down and underline it. Every question you ask needs to lead to the purpose of the consultation. So that inner sat-nav, just see it like a sat-nav. Every question is routing you to that end goal. So that third teaching piece is all around being really clear what you're trying to achieve. What is it that you want to know? What is it that you need to know so you can share that with the guardian? When you know that, have a play. Have a play with questions and find how many different ways that you can ask a question that will take you to that answer. That's the gift, that's the skill, that's the art of effective questions. It is an art and it does take a bit of practice. So I just want to recap on each of those teaching points, because they will absolutely change the way you work. They will elevate your work from ordinary to extraordinary by the very nature that you are super focused. You know how to stay on track, and you know how to and what you need to do to keep the animal with you and keep that conversational flow so that you can create the change that you desire and deserve to be able to create in this work. If you want to know more about how to master the art of effective questions, I'm running a masterclass on that just next week, just a week away. And I'll be drilling right down on how we can not only ask better quality questions, but I can pump that muscle for you ahead of time, so you're even charged up, ready to go before you've even started communicating. You can do a lot of this work behind the scenes. So if you want to know more about how you can do everything, and I'll be sharing this example of this case study in the masterclass, and I'll be really showing you exactly where Stephanie went, how we can bring that back, and what different questions she could have asked to have a completely different outcome, and to have saved herself at least 25 minutes of consultation time, talking time, communication time that was totally irrelevant, was not needed. So I'll be able to teach you all of that at the class next week. So let's recap on what you can take away from here right now and run with. And if you want to know more about joining me and Stephanie and everyone else next week, the link is in the description. So you want to stay focused, always on the outcome. What is the purpose of the communication? Why have you been asked to do this? Why are you doing this? You want to know and have that very clear at the forefront. And every question that you ask needs to take you there. It's like all roads, all routes lead to the purpose of that consultation. And then within that, the second piece is, what is it you specifically need to know? What is it that you need to know? Do you need to know about the health issue? What's going on there? Where's it happening? When's it happening? What makes it worse? What makes it better? All those kind of questions. Is it a behavioural issue? What is it behaviour? What makes the animal go crazy when such and such happens? Or what makes them retreat and shake when such and such happens? Be really clear about what you need to know and what you want to know in order to facilitate the next step of the consultation. When you're clear about that, then you can start to ask the questions that take you to that route. So once you know what it is that you're looking for, all questions should lead you to that absolute outcome. And then the last piece here is a playful piece. But don't, especially if you don't think this work is fun and you're naturally a serious person, this play work is really, really important. The play work here is, how many different questions can you create to get that outcome? And you can do that outside of a consultation. If you know up ahead what that consultation is about and what the person is wanting you to find out, you can start playing before you even connect with the animal. So you don't ever need to be stuck in the consultation. You don't ever need to be banging your head over a brick wall or going round and round and round in circles. So there's my three top strategies for you. Be super focused on what the overall outcome and reason for the consultation is. Be very specific about what you need to know or want to know within that, so that you can really help create that bigger picture, create more resolution and understanding, and then really start to play with the different ways that you can be asking any of those questions, because every single question that you ask wants to take you to that route. So think of at least 2 or 3 different ways to ask a question that will take you to the same outcome. That's the art. How many ways can I ask a question that will take me to that end point? That's what you are looking to do. And if you want more help with that, if you want a checklist, yeah, I love a checklist. If you followed me for a while, you know that I love a checklist, I love a template, I love a structure, I love a framework. So if you want a framework around how to ask questions, what kind of questions to ask, when to ask them, and how to ask them, do come and join me next week, because I'd love to share with you more than 30 years experience of working with people in difficult, challenging situations where I've mastered this art of effective questions, and I can show you how to translate that into your animal communication work so that you can really move from ordinary to extraordinary. It's all I have ever wanted for you. So check out the link in this description if you want to join me. Now, I see that we've got Sagita. Will you please communicate with... Right, okay, I'll reach out to you separately from this training, and we will see what we can do for you there. For everyone else, great to have you here, as always. Until next time, happy communicating. Bye.